Welcome back, everyone. It's Tuesday here on The Drive with Denise DiGrigoli. A big thanks for allowing me into your life for this hour. We always start the show off with a mindful minute. And we have such a fabulous guest today. I'm just going to do a quick reflection. My grandmother would always say, the biggest thing you can do is say thank you. So a special thank you to my husband, Troy, and my daughter, Ava. I had an outstanding Mother's Day. It was relaxing. We went to the museum. We went bike riding. I went to yoga, all the things I wanted to do. And I woke up on Monday especially relaxed. And I thought, what was different? What was different was I gave myself permission to relax and do nothing on Sunday but enjoy. So my mindful minute today is take some time, make that appointment, take that nap, do something for yourself, put relaxation in your life. It makes, for me, a much better sleep. Anyways, moving right along, we're talking about so many great things today. We're talking about losing more than a pound a week, a metabolic solution, melanoma, and how to better love your body and create more self-love. So it's a jam-packed hour, and I hope you'll stay with us through every segment. Please take a moment to meet my fabulous guest, Lisa Lynn, who is a metabolic expert, fitness expert, trainer to the celebrity stars and Olympian athletes in our country.
Normal people.
And normal people. Yep. Regular Joes like all of us here on the HAN network. You've written several books that all sort of tie together the mind, body, spirit.
Yes.
And you are the most outstanding guest for the Daily Drive because what we believe here is it's how you fuel your mind, your body, your spirit that creates the life you live.
Completely.
So when your PR agent sent me your information, I was like, why didn't I know about her sooner?
And I got goosebumps from your thank you thing. I was thinking the same thing because I think it's through our stories we help people the most.
Right, and you know what, when I started to read and learn about you, and then we put the information out on the ethers last night, I said, wow, some of my best friends have been keeping you a secret. So welcome.
Thanks for having me, by the way.
Thank you so much for coming. Okay, so I want to talk about you. You are a mom.
Yes.
You put family first, which I love.
It does make me crazy, but yes.
Well, makes us all crazy.
Yes.
Crazy but rewarding.
Yep, totally.
So what happens with someone like you who does travel, many TV appearances, working with all levels of people, has an incredible product line. Tell us where it all started and why.
I have evidence, by the way. You can see it at the camera. This is my picture.
Lift it up a little bit.
Maybe I'm about 2 years old, and I'm in the refrigerator with icing on my face, and my nickname was Lisa Pizza and Roly Poly. People look at me now, they're like, no, you aren't overweight. I was an overweight kid, and I struggled with my weight my entire life. I was always very positive, but I really thought it wasn't for me, it was for everybody else, despite the fact that I had groups of people as I went on to become a trainer because I learned so much from my struggles. I had groups losing weight and not me.
Really?
I really honestly did not think that it was in the cards for me.
Isn't that something?
And you know, I do believe we are our thoughts, so I'm going to go spiritual on you quick right in here. I do believe it was divine intervention because I didn't believe it. Therefore, I never did what I was supposed to because I thought, why bother? Like, this is just my destiny. This is as good as it gets. Learn to love yourself.
So you drank the Kool-Aid, assumed the label.
All the Kool-Aid.
It was for everybody else, not you.
Yep. And
wow.
I really believe we have guardian angels in our life who take us places because I shouldn't be sitting here today talking like this. And as I get older, it got better. But I've learned, like working with Martha Stewart, people who struggle with their metabolism early on, I got my hands on so much information and studied. You know, I'm a turn over all the rocks girl. I turned over every rock till I figured it out, so to speak.
So before you were the trainer to Martha Stewart, where were you teaching and what were you doing? Because
it's an interesting story. I was a little hole in the rock wall gym, believe it or not. Loved what I do. My favorite thing is to lay on the ground with people and work out. Yeah. Just that there's like all loss of time. You know, I just lose track of it. And Martha walked in with her friends and was in there. You kind of knew she was someone I had no clue who she was.
So you didn't even know it was Martha?
Thank God, because I was such a gym rat and into the stuff, and she wasn't part of that. I knew the saying, Martha doesn't live here, you know, but you could tell she got on the treadmill with conviction, and she watched me, and one day she watched me. I'm big for makeovers. You don't want to work out with me if you want to stay complacent.
Right.
And I'm sure my people are laughing right now that are going to watch this because I have my foot on the gas like a NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
It's a
beautiful metaphor for the show, by the way.
Yeah.
Pedal down, just get it done.
I come from a racing family, so like I have a need for speed, and that is in all areas of my life, especially weight loss. Why would you suffer on a program if you're not going to get fast results?
Need for speed. My friend Bev will say, don't slow down, just calm down.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Okay.
And I do agree with you. I have to learn when to put the car in park and let it restore so you can go back to your fast racing. But Martha saw me spinning these makeovers out, and she's like, can I work out with you? And I said, no.
You gave Martha the
I
no?
was busy. I had a lady coming in, so I didn't know who she was. Thank God, because I don't think I could have even spoke to her because I just get intimidated. But I still didn't know who she was. I said, by the way, my client didn't show up. Come on, let's go. We'll work out. I didn't really do any medical clearance. I think she thought I was going to do the little arm circles. I put her through the ringer. But it's not that I had to kill her in the gym, but everybody was so afraid of her, I guess. I treated her like she was everybody else.
A regular Joe.
Yeah. And the first thing I do when I see a client is talk to them about you're giving your car the wrong gas. If you're not seeing the results you want, you are giving your car the wrong gas. No change, no change. You got to change something.
Right.
And started educating her, and she loves to educate because she was hitting menopause at that stage and went from I can eat whatever I want to screeching halt.
Oh, there she is, up on the screen. Wonderful.
Yep.
And you, so was the book before that or after that?
I did not write a book for 20 years. I got emails, I'm sure when are you going to? I was busy living and raising kids, and then finally I went, okay, this is enough already. I have to put this out because it's the way to help people globally when I can't see them all one-on-one.
So hold up that book so we can see. Tell me, I mean, we can't go through the whole book right now, but tell me about, I have a metabolism issue. I have low thyroid.
Yep.
I've struggled with it for many years.
Me too.
And, I think I'm kind of doing the right thing, seeing small results, but tell people about it.
The
What
truth
is
is you can lose a pound a day safely and healthily, and people are like, oh, that's really fast. But here's the thing. If you make the right corrections, you can see that loss. We are so far out in left field with what is normal and what we should do that we've lost all sight of just going back to basics. So I went through everything. I actually wrote this after I was on Dr. Oz because I got bombarded with a tidal wave after talking about the raspberry ketones. And my biggest complaint was that I wanted people to know supplements really do help. You can't swallow a pill and sit on the couch.
Right.
So this was kind of I want to say, did have some anger issues to deal with. It was my angry rebuttal to give people the answer because he likes to sell products. I want people, I sell the truth. So you have to eat right, you have to exercise, and that's where smart use of safe supplements. So I went into lockdown and wrote this book. Hardest thing in my life I've ever done, sitting still and writing. Now I love it, can't live without it. But I wrote the book to give people how you need to eat, and I am a why girl. You can't tell me just to do something, you gotta tell me why.
Okay, so why?
So if you give your car the wrong gas, like everyone's like, well, you need carbs to live. What people lose sight of is vegetables are carbohydrates.
Right.
That's the only carbohydrate we really need that we're lacking in. Nobody starves in America anymore. And if you have this stuff, this is 5 pounds.
I know, we held this before the show, guys. Look at this.
I gain that every winter and have to take it off every spring.
Can you imagine just lugging, that's like a bag of sugar lugging around.
How tired would that make you? And people don't realize. So
well, I need to lose one of these.
You have low thyroid like I do. Welcome to the club. So a lot of people think, well, I'm going to get my thyroid checked. I'm going to take the pill. The pill doesn't fix the thyroid.
No, it doesn't fix it.
And a lot of people really believe that it does. All it does is treat the symptoms. You still have to do the work and find ways to keep kicking your metabolism into fast gear. As we age, it gets slower, but there's so much you can do to boost it, like eating more green vegetables.
So I noticed there was an article that was attached to your website about The Greatest Loser.
Yeah.
And how that show on TV, how the cast lost tremendous weight.
Yep.
Then there was statistics that they gained it back and then some. And it had something to do with their resting metabolism rate.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Which is true. So you have low thyroid, you have a slow resting metabolic rate. I do too. It's like going backward practically. What happens when you need to lose weight, mind you, they were all very overweight, which creates we could do a whole show on the metabolic difficulties that causes. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, which weight loss, hard. Right. And so now they have a new variable. So in order to lose weight, you have to reduce their calories. But when you do that, you slow the thyroid down even more.
Right.
And then when you overtrain them excessively, they really hammered these bodies. You actually cause cortisol, stress hormones, to rise, and that makes the weight loss even harder.
Right.
So when they were done kicking their body into the ground, first they didn't do enough things to boost the metabolism. They did lots of things to slow it. And then second, nobody really said to them, whatever takes the weight off is also what keeps it off. So I'm a big one now. I'll tell people, I don't want you to exercise for 2 weeks. What? when you're losing weight, because a lot of people use weight loss. Well, I can't work out. You don't need to work out to lose weight when your metabolism is boosted. So there's lots of healthy measures like drinking a protein shake in the morning. Not only does it displace the bad calories we eat at the end of the day and brings balance, but what
How did you know I eat bad calories at the end of the day?
Well, you're like me. It's like, move out of the way. If it doesn't run, it's going in the mouth.
I eat so well during the day. At about 7 o'clock, here go the skids.
This is normal human behavior, and I think it's so important to say, plan for it and expect who you are, like expect it so that you can plan for it, meaning that is just the way humans eat.
Yeah, but the cut up tomatoes in the fridge at 7 are just not singing to me. The chips are calling my name.
Well,
Hello.
that's what I talk to a lot in this book, the emotional aspect of how do you know if this is real hunger, head hunger?
Yeah.
This is all head hunger. If I say to you, oh, you're really hungry? Have some celery, and you're like, I don't want that. That's not hunger. That's head hunger. And that other stuff is what feeds the fat, and so it never leaves. So no matter how metabolically resistant, no matter how old, menopause, this goes if you stop feeding it. Hands down, by the next morning, you'll see a difference. So the truth is, it's what's behind our ears or in between that we have to do the most work on.
So how do I increase my metabolism? I'm going to assume most of my viewers are kind of in the same boat. If they had hyper metabolism, they probably are turned to soft by now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what am I doing?
Hate those people.
Yeah, get back on.
Sorry,
Get
but
back. We've
just
got
don't
other
like
things
you.
to say in segment 2. What can I do to boost my metabolism?
One, you can start to eat the way our bodies are physiologically designed. So pick a 12-hour window. I would say try to eat before 7 o'clock, like make 6 your last meal, brush the teeth, go to bed, and then don't start eating again until 6 or 7 the next morning. That is low-hanging fruit everybody can do. You just stop eating for 12
So make
hours.
kitchen hours in your mind.
That's
Kitchen
right.
is open 6 to 8 in the
right.
morning, 11 to 2.
That's right.
4 to 6, and you're done.
Exactly, and we need that. People are so afraid of boundaries when they're trying to make change. I've learned, I'm a rebel. I don't like boundaries either, but I've learned embrace them because it's what brings you the change you're begging for.
Right.
So all this eating later, food is never going to be the solution. It's the problem. Brush the teeth, shut it down, go to bed, distract, do anything but don't eat.
That's a trick I do use. I brush my teeth so my mouth isn't lingering with the next
right.
greatest thing it can
That's
enjoy.
Right. That's right.
Okay.
If that doesn't work, whiten them, go the step further like the models do. And then when you get up in the morning, the first thing you eat should be that protein shake. Do not add fruit. And I should point out, I brought some props, like lots of people are like, well, I did your system. If you didn't drink my shake, you didn't do the system. They're drinking these so-called little greenhouse smoothies, or these.
And tons of sugar.
Yeah, and a lot of them now say with protein, but with tons of sugar.
Tons
in fact,
of sugar.
so much sugar that this is how much sugar is in these. But it has greens, it doesn't matter.
How much sugar is that? Like a cup and a half?
Let me see if I remember. I think this is, no, I don't know if that's a cup and a half, but I think like this has about 30 grams of sugar, so we've got over 6 teaspoons in there. And this would be at the end of the week you've taken in that much sugar.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes
It's
that
irrelevant.
really adds to this.
To be honest, it doesn't matter if you had a cup and a half of sugar or a teaspoon. When it hits your blood sugar levels, and if you're storing this in your midsection, your blood sugar is very high. And we have to flip the switch to shut it off first.
I mean, this alone could be an entire show.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to extend this a little bit because you
Yes.
brought a special guest all the way in from
Yes,
Boston
I
today.
did.
We need to talk about our metabolism a little bit more and more
Yes.
and more healthy eating. It's
That's
not
right.
about fad diets.
90% is what you eat.
It's also, I want to bring in that spiritual mental
Yes,
component
yes.
that goes between the ears. So listen, everybody, we're going to be right back with The Drive. Denise live every Tuesday here on the HN Network. Thanks for joining in today. We'll be right back.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances, where community comes first, a place where there's more than one kind of interest, where automation will never replace consideration, where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your time-saving local shopping destination for the best of spring. Find many of your favorite products, from great specials on everyday items to the freshest organic produce, artisanal cheeses, and grass-fed steaks. Drop off your knives to be sharpened, grab a beautiful bouquet of spring flowers, and stop in next door for a wine tasting. Plus, their personable staff is always ready to lend a helping hand. So stop in to Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street today, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning.
Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
The HAN Network is the leader in local broadcasting in Fairfield and Westchester counties. We reach tens of thousands of viewers via our live news, sports, and entertainment broadcasting. We can create your advertisement and broadcast it through our programming to one of the most affluent markets in the United States. And remember, our broadcasting is live, which means viewers cannot skip or click past your marketing message. And we measure our audience and their demographics on every broadcast. To advertise on the HAN Network, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312
or email jessica@han.network.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
We believe here on The Drive that it's how you fuel your mind, your body, your spirit that creates your lifestyle. So thank you for tuning in every Tuesday. It's my pleasure to bring great people on board, people, places, ideas, and organizations that move us forward. And Lisa Lynn is really moving forward.
Fast.
Author, metabolic expert, trainer to celebrity stars. A chaplain. Survived Melanoma is going to share more about that, and an incredible author. Really teaching, I think your services, you're teaching people to love themselves and care better for themselves.
I am, because, for me, when people used to say body, mind, and spirit, and, when our head goes, our body follows it,
right.
I used to think in a snarky, arrogant way, when my body goes, my head will follow it.
Right.
And it doesn't work like that, because I lost weight, I got buffed. In fact, the WWF paid me $1,500 for an hour in front of a camera in a bikini, in front of the wrestlers, and for the first time I did what I was supposed to and proved, guess what, with low thyroid, my body moved. That was how I learned everything. And so I realized that at that moment I had everything I wanted, but I still felt empty inside.
So you had to make a connection.
I had to dig deep now.
Dig deep. So you bring a fabulous client, Janine Rose, who's ventured all the way almost from Boston, Mansfield, Mass, to be with us, and who's been a success story.
Yeah.
So how long have you guys known each other?
4 years.
Yeah.
4 years. And if I may ask, how much weight did you reduce by?
90 pounds.
90 pounds. I don't like to say lose because that implies we're going to find it again.
I know. That's right.
Totally.
We're reducing it. We're not finding it again.
Permanent.
90 pounds. So that's a whole lot of these.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming all the way. So how did you do it? Where were you when you met Lisa, and what made the click so it happened for you? Because it's always that click.
Yes.
The click.
The click.
I was, we were talking about The Biggest Loser. I was that almost 100 pounds overweight, high blood pressure, cholesterol, rheumatoid arthritis. I was stuck on the couch. I came home with my 11th drug and sat down in front of the computer, and I don't know, I just was going to look at everybody.
You had 11 pill bottles?
Well, at plus, I did a lot of spinal pain from spinal damage, so I was taking narcotics and concoctions of things. So I came home and turned the computer on, and this one was.
That's
It
right.
was a divine intervention. She popped up.
I kept trying to get rid of it, but it didn't go. And I don't know, at the end of the show, Lisa said, send me your emails, and I sent her an email that night, and at 5 o'clock in the morning, I had my answer, and it was just like the minute I saw her face, I just knew that it was time.
Powerful. And all the medication she was on slowed her metabolism further, which a lot of people don't realize, that there's a lot of stuff we take daily to sleep slows our metabolism. So it's not your imagination, but there's many things you can do if you need the medication that'll offset that.
So you started the journey when? How many months ago?
Months ago. It was 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
July of
She's kept it
2012.
And you've kept it off. Yes. How long did it take you to lose that 90 pounds?
Well, I lost 30 pounds right away, and then you guys started, talking about having to go deep. when I was 19, I lost 60 and gained 80 back. And I realized at that point that in order to keep that off, I was going to have to change how I thought about my body and myself and all those things. So in all, it probably took me about a year. I had a lot of resistance.
Yeah.
We lose weight, but we also have to lose what I call the fat thoughts of how we think when we're overweight. Like, we do get stinking thinking.
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to work for me. And when we have that attitude, we don't, like me, I never weighed and measured my food. I didn't think I needed to be honest with you. And so it takes time. I like that she lost 30 and then she stalled, but she didn't go backward. Like, nobody ever likes to stay still, but the truth is it's actually appropriate, because then you can stop and dig deep and go through the reasons we ate in the first place. Because if you don't, guess what happens? What happened on The Biggest Losers? You didn't learn the basics of your swimming skills, so you're a weak swimmer.
So when you say go deep and the thoughts about what causes our overeating, based on your worldly experience and yours as well, what do you think those thoughts are? I'm not good enough. I'm not smart
Always.
enough. I
It's
can't.
not for me.
It's for everybody else. You hated who you were.
Yep. Yeah,
So
we do
guilt,
hate who
shame
we
of
are.
who we were, what we've
And it can
done.
go a little deeper than that. Like, for me, I come from a broken home, and Martha Stewart and I used to talk about this. How did you get through your parents' divorce? We ate. We ate big buckets of chicken and mashed potatoes and ice cream and soda, and we ate our way through to the point that we didn't feel any pain. We numbed ourselves. I'm a number. And so a lot of people don't realize when you have more than 10 pounds to lose, welcome to the club, you're a number. Don't throw anything at your TV. But because if you don't eat, like my husband doesn't need to numb at all. He gets busy, he doesn't eat. Stress eaters get busy and we eat twice as much.
Yeah, I am a stress eater, and so
too.
what will happen to me is I will get lost in thought, and I will go to the chips and
too.
just be thinking
And you don't even know what you
working.
ate.
And next thing I know, I'm stress thinking through whatever project I'm working on, and the bag of chips is gone.
And now you feel worse.
And now I'm like,
because-
ugh,
yeah,
terrible.
And that's why food is never going to be the solution. It's always the problem, because now you have two problems. Now you feel worse. The sad part is it becomes a negative feedback loop where you were stressed, so you ate, and then you ate because you were stressed, and it goes around and
And then you
around.
berate yourself.
Yeah. So it makes me cry when people send me an email and they say, I can't do it, it's too much, I'm hungry, because you're quitting on yourself. And you have to fight through those things that make us, that don't kill us, do make us stronger. Nothing in your life is good that comes too easy, so put up your dukes and fight.
I had, in that 4 or 5 months of fighting, I lost like 7 pounds, but I always say it taught me how to lose 60 more.
That's right.
Interesting. So what were you doing in those months that you lost the 7 pounds? What were you cleaning house?
Warring.
Cleaning house.
You were cleaning house?
Yeah.
Now, did you do that on your own? Did you have the help of a therapist? Did you do meditation, prayer? What did you do?
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why she's pointing up here. And the truth is, people get mad if they're. It's not about your religion. It's about your relationship with God. And faith is like Wi-Fi. It always has what you need when you need it. And I never would have said that. But when you hit hard roads, you learn hit pause, pray, go deep. Don't go for the food.
Right.
I had to learn how, and that's where you win. I mean, in that emotional period where you want to, I can't quiet down your body because you want to eat something. It's like getting through that. If you can't get through those 20 seconds, you can't get to the next 20 seconds. And
So you really broke it down into small 20-minute seconds
need
at
to
time.
get-
White knuckle.
I
Yeah.
had to learn, God, for me, God had to be bigger than the bag of
Yeah.
potato chips.
Yeah.
So it's really not about a diet, it's healthy choices.
Yeah, it is.
And it's substitutions, maybe?
And for life, always about the replacement, because
Yeah.
I won't lie to you, I still live for food. I would trade my husband for food, and I'm not proud of that, but like I can eat his
give my
weight.
husband for some
I
food.
say
Got
that
a
in
couple
front
kids,
of him. And so that hasn't changed, but what I've changed is what's on the other end of the fork. And I also, now luckily, our stomachs are the size of our fist, and I had mine shrunk to this big. If you can shrink it back down, luckily I can't get in that much trouble anymore.
So my substitution, and everybody can share theirs, is I'm a big chocolate eater.
Me too.
So now I've got the big oversized raisins from Trader Joe's.
You have one.
I have one and I let it simmer in my,
That's good. You suck on it.
I'm stuck on my raisin. Or I do the celery thing. It's funny you brought up celery. If I need the potato chip crunch, I have tons of celery cut up in this, and I say, if you really don't want to eat that celery, then you don't need it that bad.
That's right.
Right?
And do you know, every time we eat celery is like one of the best diet foods around. It's like taking a diet pill. I love this, but I don't like vegetables, Lisa. Well, no change, no change.
Right.
Like I didn't like vegetables either, but when my plate was empty, I learned how real quick to like what was good for me.
So, kind of moving from this book to this book and
Yes.
talking about your body. there must have been a bridge. Tell me, but can we see the book? Okay, this book is I Love My Body book.
Yep.
And it's built for children to learn how to accept their body image, love themselves in advance, and it's a parent book, but you said adults like it as well.
Everybody loves it. It's a body book because I struggled with self-image my whole life. You know, I didn't have anybody in my life young telling me those things that you don't realize, parents, but when we tell our children things, we're speaking prophetically over them. You're beautiful, you're smart, you're funny, everybody has a gift. I didn't have that, and so I didn't know what was wrong with me. I hated my body. My whole life I hated my body. It's what drove me to work out. Most workout people who spend lots of time in the gym, it's not because they love themselves. It's their desire to improve.
Well, you know, I say those kind things to my daughter as well. And sometimes I find that she comes home, but with the onset of social media, whatever's going on in middle school,
it's a hard
this is bad, that is bad, the other thing's bad. And then the next thing I know, she's like the shrinking violet. And I said, and she always gets mad, Mom, don't reference me on the show. Sorry about that. But, you know, my point of reference.
Well, that was my exact thing. Kids would come to me and they would say, I don't like, at 8, parents would bring their kids to me. By the way, the parents are the ones feeding the kids. I don't like my
Imagine
belly.
that.
Yeah, and I hate myself. And one day, God, in an audible voice, said to me, if you really want to help, which is my agenda, I hate cameras, but I do it because I know someone's out there depressed. I was really depressed on the couch. He said, you have to go where the need starts. And I think if we can teach kids to appreciate their differences.
Right.
I was always a little chubby and had a big chest at a young age. I had to learn to realize whose I was and brainwash myself. Like, I still think my thighs are fat, but I say immediately, I'm so grateful my legs work as I survived melanoma. I'm like, no way are you going to pick, because there's this perfectionism issue in this country, especially the media.
Well, it's brought on by it's as much as we love our media and we're here today bringing positive messages, it has, you know, it's not so nice tentacles
as well. And this doesn't go away. Like, you can vouch for, I know camera ads, 25 pounds at least these days because of HD TV, not the old-fashioned 10. So I don't look at myself. I listen to what my message is because I am not willing to give up the chocolate for that.
Troy's always like, Denise, watch your show so you can improve your dialogue. I'm like, no. How about if I just listen?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need
because
to.
It's really tough for us to look, and it takes a real strong commitment, one by one, me to you and everybody, to take a stand and say, I'm not going to become anorexic. I'm not going to have, plastic surgery. I do some Botox, but we're not going to take those severe things that are just really saying, I don't love you, and God, you didn't make me perfect enough.
I think too, it's being a support system to others, right?
Totally.
As you are to your clients,
and being honest
we are
with people,
and loving, as you said, your differences and saying, I am good enough, I am pretty enough, I'm okay right now.
Yeah.
Right? And then I maybe move one step forward.
And that's where the faith hops in, is that when you know that you're whatever religion you are, that you're God's child and He doesn't make junk.
Right.
That you should be saying, like, I call it the G-spot or G-list. There's a G-spot, I got a G-list, gratitude. So the minute I get up and I'm like, oh, allergies, and look at this, oh, but your eyes work. Like, to always hit it with gratitude, and if we could teach our kids that. But moms, as we go around picking on our bodies, guess what our kids start doing?
Right. Right, so I don't make those off comments that I was making off camera about my own body in front of Ava for that exact reason.
Right.
It's all about being mindful too, right?
Yeah.
And then you learn, like, oh, if I wouldn't say it in front of Ava, then I should probably not say it to myself.
And it does take a transformation. Right? Like, I'm at Stu Leonard's this weekend on Saturday, and my prayer always is, this takes a family, because I've taken weight off kids whose parents have taken them out for pizza while they drank wine, and these kids, it needs to be a holistic approach, body, mind, and spirit.
Well, we all role model for every person.
More than we realize.
Up and down the chain and across the plane.
I know too much for my own good because I'm not perfect, and when I'm rattling at the cabinet trying to eat something, we have that grand room and the kids are like, what are you eating? Turn around. You know what I mean?
There was my friend made a Facebook post that said, I was just helping my daughter look for her Easter candy, the one that I ate last night.
That's right. Yeah. They know I just give them money now. That was me.
We'll be right back, guys. There's so much to cover today on The Drive, and it's such a pleasure to have both of you ladies here. Thank you so much. We'll be back live, The Drive, here on HAN Network every Tuesday.
A Better View Window Cleaning Plus has been cleaning glass all over Connecticut for over 20 years. They also specialize in cleaning chandeliers, mirrors, skylights, tiles, and will power wash anything that needs cleaning. They hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are fully insured and bonded. When you deal with a Better View, you're dealing with the best, not the rest. Call today for a free estimate, 203-284-8836, or visit them online, abetterviewcleaning.com.
Alberto Londano Professional Painting, Wallpapering, and Carpentry has been serving Fairfield County for over 20 years. Based in Norwalk, Alberto takes pride in his work by offering you only the best quality service and products. Call Alberto today to get a free estimate and be one step closer to a new and exciting home makeover. 203-866-9635.
What's happening up in Hartford and what's trending in the Nutmeg State.
Join Kate Czaplinski
And Josh Fisher.
on CT Pulse live Wednesdays at 12:30 to find out.
We talk to the leaders and newsmakers while breaking down the stories you should be paying attention to each week.
With the help of HAN's editorial cartoonist Doug Smith, we take a humorous look at the news of the week. We talk about everything you were told you should avoid bringing up in polite company.
CT Pulse, Wednesdays at 12:30 on the HAN Network.
Had a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or go to coastalorthoexpress.com. That's coastalorthoexpress.com. Like them on Facebook.
Been on since caught me off camera talking crazy. Anyways, welcome back.
Thanks.
Lisa. I'm just so in awe of all the things you do.
Thank you.
I mean, you're raising adopted children.
Yep.
Putting family first.
Yep.
Obviously passionate about the people you help. Writing books on
Everything.
your expertise and loving yourself.
Yes.
And you survived melanoma.
Yes, which I didn't think that anybody would ever tell me that. When the
Wow.
doctor told me, I thought he was kidding.
Well, we lost a very good friend
Yes,
last year.
it's
to
no
melanoma,
joke.
and it's serious.
That's the reason I decided to write a book with a surgeon from Yale, Dr. Narayan, who is my melanoma surgeon. He specializes in that. And why didn't I expect it? I'm a fitness expert. You just said it. You're riding bikes. Everything we do is outside.
Yes.
And with fitness, always kind of goes tanning. The van. I was in the tanning booths, and we should not step foot in those. But we didn't know that back and then. So when I went to the doctor, I saw this little mole growing, and I should say that I don't like doctors at all. I think they overcomplicate everything, healthcare, just whatever. Anyway, I'm like, you need to take that off the leg. He said, you're worrying too much. And I said, no, but I just knew in my gut, which I think my message is, listen to your gut and know your body.
Listen to your gut.
And when it came back, he said, you're never going to believe this. I think he was more upset than me because he knew what it meant. He couldn't tell me for a little while. He's like, it's melanoma. Now, I knew about skin cancer, and I kind of did expect it because I'm a wakeboarder and I love all outside things. I had no clue what melanoma was and how literally your life could be gone in 3 months if you don't catch that mole fast.
Right. Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, I think in the case of our friend, it was removed, but then not followed up with a checkup.
That's it.
And
Every
then
3
7
months.
years later, it was rampant.
Yeah.
So we talked, we said to the guests in the pre-show promotion, we talk about strategy.
Right.
Simple strategies. What are they?
You mean for melanoma prevention?
Yeah,
Or
melanoma.
for eating clean? One, you got to know your moles. Do a mole check weekly, know your body. Even the nurses said, how did you see that? Well, I do shave my legs. Now I can get my leg way up on the wall, so it was actually easy, but people don't look at their bodies is what shocked me. Even when you don't like it, and you have to look, you got to get your iPhone.
Get the mirror and look
get
at your
back
rear.
here in the cracks everywhere, because you said it. Melanoma, skin is our protective organ to our organs, and when sun hits it, it goes through our skin like a lightning bolt, and it goes through your tissue.
So no beach for you?
I struggle with that. I'm having some withdrawal. You're allowed 10 minutes of sun every day, but I get that picking my kid up from school, walking outside. Do you know what I mean?
10 minutes?
10. More importantly.
What about when I have 50 on? I'm in Naples, Florida,
Doesn't matter.
visiting my brother. I've got 50 on, I'm sun tanning, I'm running around.
Here's the thing, so sunlight compromises our immune system. And so while a little bit of sun is actually really good and super important, I had done my damage earlier because I love sun. It helps with my depression that I struggle with. I went in tanning beds because they used to tell us they were safer. I think one session in a tanning bed, I can't remember the number, the statistic, but it increases your melanoma rate big.
They used to tell us cigarettes were pretty good too.
Yeah, that's right. And so who knew my messages like prom season, all this, stay out of the tanning beds, and tanning is a sign that you've already done too much.
Oh.
So,
ooh, I'm
but
not in
most
good shape
important,
there.
no fear, because I did get scared when I went on the internet. I was dead in 24 hours. I think the thing we should be even more scared of is not living when we're alive.
Good point.
Because your life could be gone tomorrow. And I always have a bucket list. I'm actually made fun of for it. I call it an opportunity list, not a leisure list. I have to cross stuff off, but I realized I had let my bucket list sit. I was busy raising kids. You don't put anything off.
Right.
Live.
So often people will ask me, how do you know it's your intuitive voice? And how do you find it if you don't know it and haven't experienced it? And then how do you listen to it?
Boy, and that's huge. You said something powerful. First, we all want to go fast.
Yes.
You have to slow down. I only go as fast in my life as I can hear God's voice and hear that whisper. If I'm going too fast and I can't hear it, I know that I'm going way too fast. You have to slow down and create margin in your life. Like you said, to make the appointment. And for some reason, that word margin, it's like in my appointment book, I have big Sharpie pen X's. I had to really learn to say, I can get to that email tomorrow, but today I have to sit still and clear my mind so that these thoughts can come in. It's there for all of us. If you are, by the way, eating wrong actually really shuts it down a lot. And so the healthier you eat and then you move, it really becomes almost like you got to shut it down a little bit.
You know, I was reading something just by happenstance, and it said, you know, when you are eating out of harmony or eating out of order, you're waging the battle against yourself.
Totally. We're our biggest opponent.
Yes, and it's like, you know, we say one thing, yet we do another. Yeah. So, for example, what I've learned is I don't say, Denise, don't have that cookie. Because the minute I say don't have that cookie, I'm right over there.
See,
I'm
with you.
I'm on
Tell me no, I want it twice
so
as much.
I say, have that cookie, Denise. Do you really need it right now?
That's
is it within the hours
Play
you
the
want to
game.
eat? Right?
I play that game.
Yeah. And I think you also, listening to your intuition is whatever tricks work for you.
That's right.
My tricks might not work for you.
That's right. Like, I don't like wine at dinner, but I am the dessert girl. I will not touch bread, rice, pasta, potatoes, and I'm not saying that they're not healthier than what I'm going to tell you I choose, but I know that I'm a dessert every day. I don't want dessert once a week.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I want it every day.
Skip the bread, bring the cake.
So I've learned rob Peter, pay Paul's
right.
game. Mm-hmm. Now, that can't be cheesecake, and slowly I've evolved, like, according to where you want to go, but it's all about replacements, like you said, and learning. Like, I am at Stu Leonard's every day for a frozen yogurt, and you should hear the comments. Oh, you're gonna get fat. But what I realize when people say that is, like, if I don't eat it, I get ridiculed, and if I do, you gotta follow your heart. And I know for me, doing that, I feel like a part of civilization. I do not feel deprived, and I'm willing to drink a protein shake for breakfast if I can have that.
Yes. Okay, so the melanoma was short and sweet.
Yeah.
10 minutes in the sun. Don't suntan.
Every 3 months, though, I'm a little guinea pig. I am constantly checked to make no mistake. Every month I go, it's scared. It's scary.
Okay. So 50 sunscreen doesn't matter. So we're kind of eating healthy and we're moving along. Tell me about your product line, which we didn't even really talk about you doing today.
Every one of my products was born and bred out of a problem. Martha used to go into the hills of Brazil to these doctors to get these help for menopause, and she would come back with a Ziploc bag full of things. And I'm like, there must be a better way. So I know all the gurus in the industry. I'm like, can we combine these? And what I learned is, yes, you can. The reason that companies don't is because they make more money selling you individual formulas. Some are okay alone. So I actually had them combined so that all you have to take is 3 instead of 50 pills a day.
So 3 pills.
That's right. And why do we need them? Well, if you've
What's
been
in these pills?
Well, in one of them is forskolin that I did on Dr. Oz and raspberry ketones. Now, if you're the 6-foot guy and you can't keep weight on, shut the TV. You don't need these. But if you're like us and you need that, say you have that little bit of chocolate and you have the stress, so your metabolism is slow. You need things to push them forward. The other thing you need is things to help lower blood sugar, which is a real big problem these days. And then the third one is energy. I have a daily power shot that what I learned later is I always struggle. I have chronic fatigue syndrome. Like people are like, no.
Are these natural supplements?
All natural.
So I could give this to Ava, for example.
And that's my philosophy. If you won't give it to your kids, like if I won't give it to my kids and my mother, you're not going to get it from me. And it does mean I saw a comment, why can't we buy the bars local? I'm like, I got to talk to that. The reason is because I refuse to sacrifice the quality of my bar. And when products end up on the shelf in order to make their margins, they have to. I eat those things. I'm not going to sacrifice the quality.
Well, we'll have to tell Linda that because she wrote that comment
right.
in. And hopefully
Good point, though,
well,
Linda.
she can't listen right now because she's in St. Martin.
Darn.
She can look at the she can look at the podcast later.
And all of it's boosting immunity. Like, it's all about health because health is your wealth. So it doesn't matter. You could be buffed and skinny, but everything I suggest, it decreases inflammation. So you heard Janine's problems go away. They're not
So your
separate.
pH is balanced with these things?
And gluten-free. Like, it all is wrapped into one.
Where are we buying these products?
You can get them at lynnfit.com.
Okay. And now because I'm a nosy Josie,
good.
What is wrong with that avocado?
Oh, that was good, by the way.
Yes.
A lot of women are eating these because they saw a segment that said, eat avocado, it's a good fat and it makes your thighs get skinny. And the problem is no one talked about how much. Our fat quota for the day is like about the size of a quarter. Like, people don't, in my book I talk to all that. How much fat, how much carb, why.
Yeah.
You only need about 20 grams of fat per day. If you're a woman, 25 for men. Does anybody know how much avocado fat that is? That's like maybe the size of maybe a $50. People are eating the whole thing, 740 calories.
I remember when I did a paleo diet at my gym, they said the same thing about nuts.
Same thing about
nuts. Nuts are good, but you cannot just dig into the nuts.
So the reason I speak heavily to these foods is if you're a stress eater like us, you have to eat foods that you can eat a lot of.
Like the celery.
Yeah, celery, sugar-free popsicles, ice. Popcorn is another one that I slide in because sometimes you just gotta crunch. And if you're too rigid with yourself, you'll be like, and you'll go right to the wrong chips. Go to the skinny popcorn.
Maybe she has Italian descent in there. She
just
gave the United Nations
That's why I live for food. Mm-hmm. And I'm a good cook, so working with Martha, I put over 100 recipes in here because
Now, do you still work with Martha?
I see her, but no, she moved to New York and I just couldn't drive there anymore. But what's important is you shouldn't feel like you're deprived. This food should taste good.
Right.
Like, I have turkey meatballs in here that are to die for.
So I get the question often, but I'm going to let you answer it. You are doing all this, raising a family, you're on a mission. What do you do to relax? What do you do to keep sane? What is the closing message we can tell everyone that views? Like, we know how you fuel your mind and your body. How do you keep yourself balanced?
I go to church every week and get my battery blown up, is what I tell my pastor, because he's motivating and inspiring. He keeps my nose clean, always going at the right things, and also surrounding yourself with people who think like thoughts. I do run away from, I'll always help people who are stuck in the stinking thinking because I was there, but I make sure that I'm surrounded by people when I fall can pick me up.
So it's also the clearing of the mind, clearing of the toxic people in your environment that aren't supporting your highest good or their own.
And I start every single day. I start my day, yes, on the treadmill, but I send a prayer chain out to people. That's like a blessing. And I make sure that I read the Bible every day, but I go to church. I've never met a person, despite people do get mad at God, they do, that says, God, I feel terrible when I leave church. Everybody feels good and we don't go, same as the gym. So I revolve my life around, I will come home from a work trip to be at church Sunday morning. And if I can't, I turn it on the TV or online. Joyce Myers, Joel Osteen, and that really renews my mind.
So you renew your mind.
Yep.
And you fuel yourself with clean fuel, foods.
And sleep is critical.
Sleep is critical.
I shut all bets off at 8. I don't care if it's Tom Cruise on the phone. I have to shut the mind off so that I love to sleep.
Well, this has been an incredible...
Thanks for having me.
I mean, I think you're going to have to come back.
I have to
I think we just skimmed the surface.
Can't wait.
I salute you in all your endeavors.
Thank you.
Hopefully people will come out and see you at Stu Leonard's this weekend.
Please, bring
And
your
what's
questions.
next? What's next on the big list?
Oh, God, another book.
Another book. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks
it's been
for
more than a
having me.
pleasure, and I hope that you'll come back. Thanks.
Ciao. Thanks.
Okay, guys, we'll see you next week on The Drive here on HAN Network. If you're interested or you have a topic you think you'd like to share, please connect with us on Twitter, HAN Network CT, and we'll see about having you on. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.
That was great.